right, let's talk about something that's been driving men crazy since the beginning of time. What do women actually want? And I'm not talking about the obvious stuff. I'm talking about those things that women think about, fantasize about, even crave, but rarely, if ever, actually say out loud. Now, before you click away thinking, this is going to be some cringy pickup artist nonsense, stop. This isn't that. This is about genuine connection, attraction, and understanding the psychology behind what creates chemistry and keeps relationships exciting. I've spent months researching relationship psychology, interviewing relationship experts, and yes, talking to hundreds of women to understand what they wish men knew but feel too awkward, too vulnerable, or too worried about being judged to actually say. And let me tell you, some of these are going to surprise you. Some might even make you uncomfortable. But if you stick with me through all 15, I promise you'll walk away with a completely different understanding of attraction and intimacy. So hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's dive into the 15 things women secretly want but never say out loud. Before we jump into the list, we need to set some ground up here. First, and I cannot stress this enough, every woman is different. What I'm sharing today are patterns that relationship psychologists and researchers have identified across thousands of conversations and studies. But your partner, your crush, the woman you're interested in, she's an individual with her own unique desires. Second, the word dirty in the title, that's intentional clickbait, but not in a bad way. These aren't all sexual. Some are emotional, some are psychological, and yes, some relate to physical intimacy. But dirty here really means unspoken, taboo, or things society tells women they shouldn't want or admit to wanting. Third, this video is about understanding and connection, not manipulation. Use this knowledge to be a better partner, to create deeper intimacy, to understand the woman in your life, not to play games. All right, with that out of the way, let's get into it. Number 15. Number 15, she wants you to take charge of planning without being asked. Now, before the comments section explodes, I'm not saying women want to be controlled or don't want equality in relationships. What I'm talking about is decisiveness and initiative. Here's what this actually looks like. Instead of the endless "I don't know," where do you want to eat? Loop, she wants you to sometimes say, I'm taking you to this new Italian place Friday night. Wear something nice. Notice what's happening there? You're showing initiative, confidence, that you've thought about her, that you're willing to take responsibility. Relationship psychologist Dr. Helen Fisher has talked about how attraction is often built on mystery and surprise. When everything is a negotiation, when every decision is collaborative, to the point of exhaustion, it can kill spontaneity. Now the key here, and this is crucial, is reading the room. Some women want this more than others. Some want it in specific contexts. But what nearly every woman appreciates is when a man can confidently say, I've got this, without needing constant validation or hand-holding. It's not about control. It's about confidence and care enough to make a decision. Number 14. Number 14. She wants you to notice the details without her pointing them out. This one seems simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Women are constantly sending signals about their mood, their appearance, their needs, and they're testing whether you're paying attention. Did she change her hair, even slightly? Did she seem quieter than usual? Did she mention something important 3 days ago that she's clearly still thinking about? Here's the secret. Women don't always want you to fix things. Sometimes they just want to know you're noticing. There's actual neuroscience behind this. Research from UCLA shows that women tend to process emotional information differently, with greater connectivity between emotional processing centers and verbal centers. This means that for many women, being understood emotionally feels like being loved. When you notice details without being prompted, you're saying, you matter enough to me that I'm paying attention even when you're not asking me to. That could be remembering she has a big presentation and texting her good luck. Noticing she's wearing the earrings you complimented once. Picking up her favorite snack without her asking, because you know she's had a rough week. These micro-actions build macro connection. And here's the dirty little secret. Many women are testing this. They want to know if you care enough to pay attention when nobody's keeping score. Number 13. Number 13. She wants you to be a little possessive in the right way. Okay, I know how this sounds. And let me be crystal clear. I'm not talking about jealousy, control, or anything toxic. Red flags are red flags. What I'm talking about is the kind of subtle possessiveness that communicates value and desire. Think about it this way. If you showed zero reaction when other men flirted with her, if you seemed completely indifferent to her going out with her attractive coworker, if you never showed any sign that you see her as desirable, what would that communicate? Women want to feel desired. They want to know that you value what you have. Evolutionary psychology suggests this goes back to mate selection, signs that a partner is invested and protective signaled, security and commitment. But here's the fine line. This looks like putting your hand on the small of her back when you're out together, making it clear you're together without being aggressive, complimenting her in a way that shows you're proud to be with her. It does not look like interrogating her about who she talks to, getting angry when she has male friends, or trying to control what she wears. The difference? One says, I value you. The other says, I don't trust you. Women want the former, and they'll run from the latter. Number 12. Number 12. She wants you to have a life outside of her. This might seem counterintuitive in a video about what women want from men, but stay with me. One of the most attractive qualities you can have is being a complete person who doesn't need her to feel fulfilled. Women are attracted to men who have their own hobbies and passions, their own friend groups, their own goals and ambitions, their own identity. Why? Because neediness is one of the biggest attraction killers that exists. When your entire world revolves around her, it creates pressure. It makes her feel responsible for your happiness. And frankly, it's boring. Esther Perel, one of the world's leading relationship therapists, talks about the importance of separateness in creating desire. She says that desire requires space. You can't want someone who's always available, always there, always making you their entire world. When you have your own passions, you bring new energy into the relationship. You have stories to tell. You're growing and evolving. You're interesting. Plus, here's the secret benefit. When she knows you're choosing to be with her, not because you have nothing else, but because you want to be, even though you have a full, rich life, that choice means so much more. So hit the gym, see your friends, work on that project, build that business, be a whole person. She'll respect you more for it. And the time you do spend together will be infinitely more valuable. Number 11. Number 11. She wants you to be playfully confident, even cocky sometimes. There's a version of masculinity that's been getting demonized lately, and it's throwing a lot of guys off balance. They're so worried about being respectful that they've lost their edge entirely. But here's what women actually respond to. Playful confidence. The kind of energy that teases her, challenges her, doesn't take everything so seriously. This is what flirting actually is at its core. It's the ability to be confident enough to joke around, to not be so worried about her approval that you turn into an agreement machine. Relationship researcher Dr. John Gottman found that couples who maintain playfulness and humor in their relationships have significantly higher satisfaction rates. That playful spark, that ability to not take everything seriously, keeps things interesting. What this looks like in practice. Teasing her about something silly. Never about insecurities, there's a line. Having the confidence to disagree with her sometimes. Not apologizing for your opinions or preferences. Being able to laugh at yourself. Creating inside jokes and playful dynamics. What it doesn't look like. Being mean or cruel. Putting her down to feel bigger. Arrogance without the skill to back it up. Women are attracted to men who are comfortable in their own skin. A little cockiness when it comes from genuine confidence, not insecurity, can be incredibly attractive. It shows you're not afraid of her, you're not intimidated, and you see her as an equal worth engaging with, not a goddess to worship or a prize to win. Number 10. Number 10, she wants you to lead in the bedroom, but also pay attention to her responses. All right, we're moving into more intimate territory here. But this is important, because the bedroom is where a lot of these unspoken dynamics become most obvious. Studies on sexual satisfaction consistently show that women want a partner who can take initiative and be confident in intimate settings. There's something deeply attractive about a man who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to express it. But, and this is crucial, that confidence needs to be paired with awareness and responsiveness. Think about it as leading a dance. The best dancers are confident in their movements, but they're also completely attuned to their partner. They can feel when something's working and when to adjust. What women want is someone who initiates with confidence, creates variety and spontaneity, isn't afraid to be passionate and expressive, but also reads her body language, asks what she enjoys, pays attention to what gets responses, makes her pleasure a priority. The dirty secret here is that many women have fantasies about being desired intensely, about a partner who takes charge, but society often makes them feel guilty or ashamed for wanting that, so they don't verbalize it. The key is creating an environment where she feels safe enough to communicate what she wants, while you demonstrate that you're confident enough to lead and attentive enough to follow her cues. It's not about being selfish or being passive. It's about confident attentiveness. Number 9. She wants you to have boundaries and stand up for yourself. Here's something that drives women crazy, and not in a good way. Men who agree with everything, who never push back, who treat the relationship like they're walking on eggshells. Women respect men who have boundaries, who can say no, who have standards and aren't afraid to enforce them. Why? Because boundaries demonstrate self-respect. And if you don't respect yourself, how can she respect you? And if she doesn't respect you, attraction dies. This doesn't mean being rigid or unwilling to compromise. Healthy relationships require give and take. But it means knowing what you will and won't accept, what your values are, and being willing to communicate them even when it's uncomfortable. What this looks like: being able to say, "I'm not comfortable with that," when something crosses a line. Not canceling your plans every time she wants something. Calling out behavior that's disrespectful. Having your own opinions and being willing to express them. Psychologist Dr. Robert Glover talks about nice guy syndrome, where men try to avoid conflict at all costs, people please constantly, and end up in relationships where they're not respected. Women aren't attracted to doormats. They're attracted to men who value themselves. The irony: when you have solid boundaries and self-respect, when you're willing to walk away from things that don't serve you, you become more attractive, not less. She might not say she wants you to stand up to her sometimes, but watch how she responds when you do with calm confidence. Changes the dynamic entirely. Number 8. She wants you to show vulnerability, but from a place of strength. This one confuses a lot of guys because the message they're getting from culture is mixed. Be vulnerable, they're told. So they overshare their insecurities, their fears, their every emotional fluctuation, and they wonder why attraction evaporates. Here's the nuance that gets missed. Women want to see that you're human, that you have depth, that you're capable of emotional intimacy, but they want it from someone who's fundamentally stable and strong. Think of it like this: a warrior showing you the scars from battles he's won is attractive. A warrior showing you he's terrified before every battle and needs constant reassurance is not. Brené Brown's research on vulnerability is often misunderstood. She talks about vulnerability as having the courage to be seen, but that courage is key. It's not about dumping your trauma or insecurities on someone. It's about selective, authentic sharing that deepens connection. What women respond to: sharing your dreams and aspirations, talking about challenges you've overcome, admitting when you don't know something, expressing genuine emotions in the right context, being honest about your values and what matters to you. What turns them off? Constant complaining without action, emotional neediness, using her as your therapist, lack of emotional regulation. The key is that vulnerability should deepen intimacy, not create the impression that she needs to mother you or that you can't handle life's challenges. Be real, be human, but be strong enough to handle your own emotions while inviting her into your inner world. Number 7. She wants you to desire her specifically, not just generic female attention. Here's something women pick up on that men often miss: the difference between being wanted as a woman versus being wanted as this woman. When you compliment her, when you initiate intimacy, when you show interest, is it clear that it's about her specifically? Or would you be saying and doing the same things with any attractive woman? This is where specificity becomes incredibly powerful. Instead of "you're beautiful," don't try "the way your eyes light up when you talk about your work is incredible." Instead of generic compliments, notice what makes her unique. Anthropologist Helen Fisher's research on love and attachment shows that specificity activates different neural pathways. When someone feels uniquely seen and valued, it creates deeper bonding. Women have a radar for whether you're genuinely attracted to who they are, or whether they're just filling a role in your life. They can tell if you're settling, if you're just with them until something better comes along, if your desire is genuine or circumstantial. What this looks like in practice: complimenting specific traits, not just physical appearance. Remembering details about her life, her stories, her preferences. Showing desire that's clearly connected to who she is. Making it clear why you're choosing her specifically. This creates security, not the kind that breeds complacency, but the kind that allows her to relax and be fully herself because she knows she's valued for who she actually is, not just as a placeholder. When a woman feels truly seen and specifically desired, it unlocks a different level of connection and attraction. Number 6. She wants you to be ambitious and driven, but not at her expense. Here's a paradox women navigate constantly. They're attracted to men with goals, ambition, drive, and purpose, but they also want to feel valued and prioritized. Multiple studies on attraction show that ambition and drive are consistently rated as highly attractive qualities. Why? Because they signal future potential, resourcefulness, and the kind of masculine energy that women are biologically and psychologically drawn to. But here's where men mess this up. They either become so consumed by their goals that their partner feels like an afterthought, or they abandon all ambition once. They're in a relationship, thinking that's what she wants. Neither works. What women actually want is a man who has clear goals and works toward them consistently. Makes her feel like she's part of his vision, not competing with it. Can balance ambition with presence. Shows her that success includes her, not excludes her. Think about the difference between "I can't make dinner because I'm working late," said dismissively, versus "I'm putting in extra hours this month on this project because I'm building toward something that will give us more freedom. Can we plan something special for next weekend?" One makes her feel dismissed. The other makes her feel included in your vision. She doesn't want to be your only priority. That's too much pressure. But she wants to be a priority. She wants to feel like your ambition is creating a better life that includes her, not a separate life that squeezes her out. Be driven, build your empire, but make sure she knows she's part of what you're building toward. Number 5. She wants you to make her feel safe, emotionally, not just physically. When women talk about wanting to feel safe, a lot of men immediately think about physical protection. And yes, there's an element of that. But the kind of safety women crave most is emotional. What does emotional safety look like? It means she can express her feelings without being judged, dismissed, or told she's being too emotional. It means she can be vulnerable without it being used against her later. It means she can be herself, moody, imperfect, uncertain, without you withdrawing or punishing her for it. Dr. Sue Johnson, creator of emotionally focused therapy, has demonstrated that emotional safety is the foundation of secure attachment. When people feel emotionally safe with their partner, they're more open, more intimate, and paradoxically, more attracted. Here's what creates emotional safety: listening without immediately trying to fix or dismiss, validating her feelings even when you don't fully understand them, being consistent and reliable with your words and actions, not using her vulnerabilities against her during arguments, creating an environment where she can be fully herself. And here's the dirty secret women don't say. When they feel emotionally safe, when they know you're not going to judge them or abandon them for being human, they're willing to be more adventurous, more open, more passionate. Safety doesn't kill attraction. It enables deeper levels of it. Think of it this way: you can't fully relax and let go if you're constantly worried about being judged or abandoned. Emotional safety allows her to drop her guard, be authentic, and connect with you on deeper levels. This is one of those things that seems obvious but is incredibly rare. Be the man who creates that space for her. and watch how it transforms your connection. Number 4. Number 4. She wants you to take care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. This isn't about having six-pack abs or looking like a fitness model. Though taking care of your physical health matters, this is about being someone who values himself enough to invest in his own well-being. Women are attracted to men who take care of their physical health and appearance, work on their mental health and emotional intelligence, have good hygiene and present themselves well, continue growing and developing as people. Why does this matter so much? Because how you treat yourself signals how you'll treat everything else in your life, including her. If you can't be bothered to take care of yourself, if you've given up on growth, if you're stagnating, that's not attractive. It's not about perfection. It's about effort and intentionality. Plus, there's a practical element here. Women are often socialized to be caregivers, and many of them secretly worry about ending up with a man who becomes another person they have to take care of rather than a partner who takes care of himself. What this looks like: maintaining your physical fitness at whatever level is realistic for you, dressing well and having good grooming habits, going to therapy or working on your mental health if needed, having hobbies and interests that keep you growing, reading, learning, developing new skills. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be actively working on yourself. When you demonstrate that you value yourself enough to invest in your own growth and well-being, it sends a powerful message. I'm worth being with. I'm high value. I expect the same from a partner. That's attractive. That's the kind of energy that creates mutual respect and desire. Number 3. Number 3. She wants you to challenge her and make her better. Here's something that goes against a lot of modern dating advice. Women don't just want someone who agrees with everything they say and validates every choice they make. They want someone who sees their potential and calls them higher. Now, this is a delicate balance. This is not about being critical or tearing her down. This is about being someone who believes in her, enough to challenge her when she's selling herself short, when she's playing small, when she's letting fear make her decisions. Psychologist Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset shows that we're attracted to people who help us grow. Relationships that make us better versions of ourselves are the ones we value most. What this looks like: encouraging her to pursue goals she's nervous about, calling her out gently when she's making excuses, having standards and expectations for the relationship, not letting her settle for less than she's capable of, being willing to have difficult conversations when needed. What this doesn't look like: being controlling or dictating her choices, criticizing her appearance or attacking insecurities, pushing your agenda without respecting her autonomy, being condescending or treating her like she needs to be fixed. The women who are genuinely high quality, who have their own ambitions and drive, they want a partner who matches their energy and pushes them to be better. They're bored by men who just go along with everything. Be her partner, not her yes man. Respect her enough to challenge her. Believe in her enough to see what she's capable of and encourage her to reach for it. That's the kind of dynamic that creates deep respect and keeps attraction alive. Long-term. Number 2. Number 2. She wants you to be present and fully engaged when you're together. In a world of constant distraction, endless scrolling, and divided attention, one of the most attractive things you can do is be fully present. Not checking your phone every 5 minutes. Not mentally somewhere else. Not half listening while thinking about work or whatever game is on later. Actually, fully present. Research on mindfulness and relationships shows that present moment awareness is one of the strongest predictors of relationship satisfaction. When people feel truly seen and heard by their partner, connection deepens dramatically. Think about how rare this is now. Most people are physically present but mentally elsewhere. They're at dinner but checking Instagram. They're having a conversation but clearly distracted. When you give her your full attention, when you make eye contact, when you listen to understand rather than just waiting to respond, when you're genuinely engaged with what she's saying, it creates a level of intimacy that's increasingly rare. What this looks like: putting your phone away during meals and conversations, making real eye contact when she's talking, asking follow-up questions that show you're engaged, being attuned to her emotional state, creating moments of undivided attention regularly. The dirty secret here is that this level of presence is so rare that when you provide it, you immediately stand out from 90% of men. It's not complicated. It's not expensive. It doesn't require special skills. It just requires the discipline to be where you are, with who you're with, giving them your full attention. To distracted world, presence is the ultimate luxury. Give her that gift regularly and watch how it transforms your connection. Number 1. And here we are, number 1. The thing women want most but almost never verbalize. She wants to feel like she's earned you, not like she's the prize and you're just grateful to be there. This is going to ruffle some feathers, but stay with me. For decades, men have been told to treat women like prizes to be won. Put her on a pedestal. Make her feel like a queen. Show her how lucky you are to be with her. And on the surface, this seems romantic. But here's what it actually creates. A dynamic where she has all the power. You have none, and attraction slowly suffocates. Here's what research on attraction and mate selection consistently shows. People value what they have to work for. When something comes too easily, when there's no challenge, when there's no sense of earning it, the value decreases. This doesn't mean playing games. This doesn't mean being cruel or making her jump through hoops. This means being a high-value man who has options, who has standards, who is choosing her but could choose differently. When a woman feels like she's earned your attention, your commitment, your investment, when she feels like you chose her not because you had no other options but because she impressed you, met your standards, and proved herself worthy of your time, that creates a completely different dynamic. She respects you more. She values the relationship more. And paradoxically, she's more invested in keeping it. What this looks like: having standards for how you're treated and enforcing them, not being available 24/7, maintaining your own life and priorities, making it clear that you're choosy about who you invest in, showing appreciation, not desperation. Think about the difference between, "I'm so lucky you're with me," versus, "I really value what we're building together." One puts her on a pedestal and you beneath her. The other positions you as equals who are choosing each other. Women don't want to be worshipped. They want to be with a man they respect, admire, and feel they had to earn. Not through manipulation or games, but through genuine value and standards. Be someone worth earning. That's the ultimate attraction. All right, let's bring this home. We've covered 15 things women secretly want but rarely vocalize. And I know some of these might have challenged your assumptions or made you uncomfortable. That's good. Growth happens in discomfort. But here's what I want you to understand. None of this is about manipulation. None of this is about trying to trick women into being attracted to you. This is about understanding human psychology, attraction dynamics, and becoming the kind of man who naturally creates the connection and desire you want. The common thread through all of these? They require you to be confident but not arrogant, strong but not rigid, attentive but not needy, ambitious but not absent, vulnerable but not weak. It's about balance. It's about nuance. It's about being a complete, well-rounded person who values himself and knows what he brings to the table. Here's your action step. Don't try to implement all 15 of these tomorrow. Pick 2 or 3 that resonated most with you and start there. Notice what changes. Pay attention to responses. Adjust and iterate. And remember, the goal isn't to become someone you're not. It's to become the best version of who you already are. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these surprised you most? Which one are you going to focus on first? Drop a comment below and let's keep this conversation going. If this video helped you understand women better, do me a favor, share it with a friend who needs to hear this. Hit that like button if you found value here, and subscribe because we're going deep on relationship psychology, attraction, and becoming better men every single week. Thanks for sticking with me through all 40-something minutes of this. I know it was long, but some topics deserve depth, not sound bites. Until next time, work on yourself, value yourself, and remember, the right woman isn't looking for perfection. She's looking for a man who's genuinely working to be better. I'll see you in the next one.